Nestled in the heart of the Riverina region of New South Wales is the city of Griffith. Created in 1916 as a part of the state government's Murrumbidgee Irrigation Area project, which opened up farming in western New South Wales, Griffith is home to just over 20,000 people. It's also an anomaly in Australian sport. All four football codes enjoy reasonable popularity. There's the Griffith Waratah Tigers and Griffith Black and White Panthers in Group 20 Rugby League, the Griffith Swans in the Riverina Australian Rules Football League, and the Griffith Blacks in the Southern Inland Rugby Union. But all those clubs are not much interest to us in this video. We're interested in the round ball game. We're interested in the city's football clubs. There's Griffith City, West Griffith, Handwood, Yoogali Football Club, and the one we're focused on today, the Yoogali Soccer Club. You might also ask why there are two teams bearing the name Yoogali. Well, that's a great question, but it's an answer steeped in politics and bitter rivalries, and one that can make its own video. I'm not from Griffith, so I don't think I can do the story justice, mainly out of my concern of not getting it right, and also not wanting to piss off so many people involved in both clubs. Griffith's isolation from other major cities has always been a problem, especially for the city's local football clubs. Football never had the stranglehold in the smaller country towns, unlike rugby league and Australian rules, which were both able to establish strong local competitions in the region. So if Griffith football clubs wanted to play top-level football, they would have to look to other major cities. But they were too far away. It's an over 6-hour drive to Sydney, almost 5.5 hours to Melbourne, and almost 4.5 hours to Canberra. During the 1990s and early 2000s, both Yoogali and Handwood looked south of the border into Victoria to play top-level football, competing in the now-defunct North Eastern Soccer League, which was based around Shepparton. Yoogali's men's team won 4 grand finals and the women won 1, while Handwood won 3 men's titles and 2 in the women's. At the end of the 2007 season, however, both Griffith clubs departed as the more than 6-hour round trips were beginning to take a toll on its players. Both clubs joined the Griffith and District Football first grade competition from 2008, before gradually moving towards the Pascoe Cup, the first grade competition organised by Football Wagga Wagga. But Yoogali Soccer Club still harboured ambitions to compete at a much higher level. After the COVID-19 pandemic delayed the start of the 2020 Capital Premier League season, the Riverina Rhinos, a now defunct club based in Griffith, withdrew from the competition, which was the second-tier competition in ACT. This came a year after the club had been in NPL Capital Football, the top tier. From 2021, Yoogali replaced the Rhinos, and in 2023, the Griffith-based club achieved promotion into NPL Capital Football for the 24 season. In the club's first season in the top tier, Yoogali finished just 2 points clear of last place Canberra Olympic. But despite the lowly position, it was still a strong performance for the Griffith-based club, who frequently travelled over 4 hours one way to compete in the competition. At the time of recording, Yoogali is currently 5th in the 2025 season and has scored 12 goals in 7 games, just 2 goals short of what it managed during the entire 2024 season. Handwood, Yoogali's arch rivals, had attempted to join Capital Premier League in 24 and 25, but had been denied on both occasions by the governing body. But this year is likely to be Yoogali's last season in the top tier of NPL Capital Football. The Griffith-based club is facing the axe from the competition, alongside Wagga City Wanderers in the Capital Premier League. So why is Yoogali, a team that has risen through the ranks and has provided a platform for the Riverina's best footballers to compete at a high level, be facing the axe? Well, it's got to do with NPL Capital Football's review, which dropped on May 16. In brief, the review suggested the abolition of the Capital Premier League, which is the second-tier competition in Canberra, while also expanding NPL Capital from 8 to 10 teams, with the remaining Capital Premier League clubs either filtering into the NPL or down into the Open Community League. Player payments were set to be capped at $150 per match, which is likely to see the best players look towards more lucrative deals in Sydney or Melbourne, therefore lowering the standard of the competition. It would also see the removal of the Riverina clubs in Yoogali and Wagga City Wanderers, with travel cited as the main reason. In 2017, Capital Football first expanded outside its traditional boundaries of Canberra, Cooma, Yass and Goulburn to include teams from the Riverina. But with the abolition of the Capital Premier League looming, those Riverina clubs would have to filter to the Open Community League in theory. While the report says there is an acceptance that clubs need to travel to the Riverina at the NPL level, it said community and junior players would not be willing to travel to the Riverina and therefore would be forced to forfeit their matches. It means Yoogali's first grade team is effectively without a league to play in from 2026, unless it wants to drop back to either the Griffith or Wagga local leagues, which would signify a significant drop-off in quality and standard. In an interview to the local Griffith newspaper, the Area News, Yoogali coach Luke Santelin came out swinging in defence of the club. In quoting Santelin, he said, "The P in NPL stands for Premier, which means you want the best teams. I don't understand how you can claim to be an elite competition when you can make a decision based on everything but what happens on the field. A lot of this review has been conducted by people who have an affiliation with clubs that are below us in the Capital Premier League or community leagues. You can't tell me that jealousy and envy don't exist in the sport, and rather than do the work on the field and on your club to get better, you have done it in the shadows and in the boardroom. Anyone who calls themselves a lover of football couldn't support this decision." In response to Canberra-based clubs bemoaning the travel to Griffith, Santelin slammed those clubs. "These guys just show up, get paid to play, show up on game day, and when the game finishes, they all go home," he said. "When it's time for them to come to Griffith, they can't think of anything worse, but we do it 13 or 14 times a year, and we don't bat an eyelid. We think it's great and want to keep doing it. If we can do it 14 times, why can't you come once or twice? It makes no sense. These clubs might get promoted to NPL because of a document, but it won't teach them anything. They won't understand what they are missing." Yoogali found a vocal supporter in the nation's capital, in renowned coach Frank Katcher, who slammed the decision to cut the Riverina clubs in a chat with Russ Gibbs, the head of communications at Capital Football, in the pre-game of the livestream of Yoogali's match against Canberra Tigers on Saturday, May 17.
My disappointment probably stems more from just how we've gone about it, Russ. I think this is not just at the hands of one organisation or one club or whatever else, but I look at what we're trying to achieve in the game, and I hope we're trying to achieve growth in the game, and I hope we're trying to have the best possible environment for players to progress through to either higher stakes or different competitions, and I just think there's a few contradictions in that in the way it's been done. For me, I look at Riverina, that area, I look at Wagga in that area, and I think that's 100 odd players that we no longer have in our competition. We talk about things like travel and things like that. We talk about best of the best, and we talk about players that want to achieve elite competitions. And if you're not prepared to travel to be an elite competition, are you really fair income about being an elite competition? I've heard rumours that if Canberra United Academy, goes ahead next year and they start an academy, they're looking at maybe joining a New South Wales NPL2 competition. So why is it okay for us to if that comes to be true, why is it okay for us to send teams that will travel every second week to Sydney, but it's not okay for clubs to travel once or twice a year to either Wagga or Griffith, who have given everything they've got to these competitions, and that's where I get disappointed. Now, that's not on the feet of the governing organisation, that's not on the feet of the clubs, but I think what people need to remember is this sport is for the players, this sport is for the people in the game, and we've got to make sure that at the end of the day, everything that we do should be about those people in the game, and I think we've really lost about 100 odd people and their supporters and their sponsors to the game.
We talk about Griffith being an anomaly in Australian sport. Well, Yoogali is an anomaly in football in Australia. When you look at all the top-level NPL state leagues, you will not find another club so under-resourced in terms of population and the length it has to travel to play its games. Despite those poor odds, Yoogali is punching above its weight. But it's a shame the head honchos in Canberra want them gone. Because Yoogali is a prime example and a rare not a rare, almost the only example of a regional club competing at the highest level in a state league competition in Australia. It's a grim future for Yoogali, with expulsion from NPL Capital Football weighing over them. But for now, only the players, coaches and fans can keep doing what they've been doing all year and in previous years, and let the results show that they are a vital asset to the competition. That concludes today's video. Thank you once again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't already, why not hit that subscribe button and like the video? It's completely free and helps grow the channel. We also have channel memberships. That's a way you can financially support us, but there's no pressure to do so. But any support will help grow the quality of our videos and will help us put out more video essays like this. We'll see you in the next video.